class, and welcome to math. Today we're going to be continuing our adding of mixed numbers together. And so we're going to start with a problem, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to think about it. Okay, so we have 3 1/3 plus 2 2/3. Now our denominators are the same. We're working with thirds, so that's great. We don't have to make any common denominators. If they were different, then we'd probably have to change them to a common denominator first. But right now, our denominators are the same, so we don't have to worry about that. I've drawn a picture to kind of represent 3 1/3. So you can tell that I have 3 wholes, and then I have this one fraction piece that's 1 out of the 3 pieces. And I want to add it to this 2 2/3. So I have 2 wholes here, and then I have 2 of these 1/3 pieces over here, and I want to combine them together. So with a picture, we could easily do this by saying, okay, well, I've got to try to make as many wholes as I can, right? So I could take this piece right here and move it over into this one over here, and then that dissolves this whole area over here. And now we have how many full whole numbers? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can easily tell that we have 6 wholes. We have no fractions left over. 6 whole pieces. Now, what if we looked at this on a number line? Okay, so I've kind of started my number line. I skipped a little bit here. This arrow means that it can go lower, but I'm skipping right to 2 because I know that I'm going to be past a whole number of 2. So here's my number line. I know that I have to break each of my wholes into thirds because that's my denominator. So I'm just going to cut each one of these into thirds because I'm working with thirds. And now I can start with my 3 1/3. So I'm going to say, okay, here's 1, 2, 3, and 1 more third. So I'm right here on my number line. I've jumped 1, 2, 3, and 1/3. That's where I'm at my beginning number. And now I'm adding from that point. This is basically this much right here on my number line. Now I need to jump another 2 1/3 pieces, 2 2/3 pieces. So to make a whole, I'm jumping 3 little chunks, right? That's like 1, 2, 3. So this would be 1, 2, 3. So that would be 1 whole, and then another whole. And now I need 2 more little third chunks. So here's 1/3 and 1/3. So I'm landing right there on that 6 mark. So you can kind of see how that's working on a number line now. So you could use a number line to add them together. Now let's look at one more strategy. I'm going to stack this kind of like we did when we did our T-charts in a few lessons ago. So I'm going to stack it and put 1/3, I'm going to space it out just a little bit. 1 1/3 plus 2 2/3. So now this is kind of looking like my algorithm part of my T-chart that we practiced a few weeks ago. The only thing different is that I have my fractions on this side and my whole numbers on this side. So I'm going to look at my fractions first, and I'm going to add them together. And I'm going to say 1/3 plus 2/3 is 3/3 because 2 plus 1 is 3, and my denominator stays at 3. So look at that. Holy moly. We have a whole there, right? So now let's add up our wholes and then see what we can do with this whole. So 3 plus 2 is 5, but we have this whole right here. So we can add those both together and we get 6. Another way you could do that is just say, okay, I'm going to move this up, and kind of like you're carrying it into the wholes. It's like when we're working with our place values, we have, our ones and our tens and our hundreds and thousands. I kind of like to think of it as, oh, we have our fractions over here, and if we can make a whole, we can carry that over into our whole number group in a way. So kind of another way to think about it. Okay, so you've just watched a couple of different strategies. We've got a picture strategy of adding them together. We have a number line strategy, and then we have kind of an algorithm strategy. All right, you're probably on your assignment today going to want to pick one of the strategies that you like and try it out. So I want to do one more problem with you. And I just want to do it with the straight algorithm way. So let's try 4 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and stack it kind of almost like this place value stacking, 3 2/4. 3 2/4. So it's almost like I'm putting my my fractions and my whole numbers so that I can add them into my answer below. Okay, so here I have 1/4 and 2/4. How am I going to add that together? I have 1 plus 2 is 3, and we're continuing to have fourths. And now I'm going to take my whole numbers. I'm going to add my whole numbers together. 4 plus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have 7 3/4 as our final answer. Okay, so you kind of see how that's working with adding up those fractions. Now, if this number happens to be an improper fraction, you know you have a whole in there, and you can use a number bond to pull out that whole and carry it back up into this column of whole numbers. Okay. On your assignment today, there are a few places where it says to do it on a number line. If you want to do it on a number line, you can. And if you want to do it in the algorithm way, then that's okay too. So you get to choose today. Even if it says on there, do it in a number line, I'm going to let you choose the way that you would like to do it. So if you have a question on your math today, you need to put a question by it and bring it to your teacher for Zoom. And I'll make sure that I have an answer key on here for you, but don't look at the answer key until you get your problems done first. All right, okay, bring any questions and I'll see you at Zoom. Bye-bye.